welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. NumberNIne.
And this is The Fool.
This is where me and The Fool give our
Unqualified and unrequested
ramblings on the various issues in the world of sport.
or something like that.
Hello, everyone. Now, we are back to our actual bread and butter and our annual extravaganza, Christmas in December.
Yeah, Christmas in December. Woo, woo.
Well, we've had 2 Christmases in December this time, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
very close to the actual Christmas period, and we're gonna do some Decembering. So, as we know, this is the festive period fixtures where everybody's now setting up their fantasy lineups again, doing their
Yeah.
triple boosts, quadruple boosts, captains, whatever.
Yeah,
Now's the time to get the points.
yeah. Plenty of games in a short period of time.
Absolutely. So we have match day 17, 18, and 19, basically taking us from next Tuesday, the 27th of December, New Zealand time, till Friday, the 6th of December, once again, New Zealand time.
Yeah. Conveniently all through my Christmas holiday period.
Yeah, and pseudo mine too, because, I can just decide to work around these games.
Yeah.
So now let's start out right off the bat. Let's have a quick view of the table. When previously on Premier League, Arsenal were top of the league with 12 wins, a draw, and a loss.
Yeah.
37 points, a commanding 5-point lead over Manchester City on 14 games each. Manchester City having drawn 2 games and lost 2 on 32 points.
City, with their goal-scoring machine up front, have scored a ton more goals.
Absolutely. Well, 7 more goals.
7 more goals, which, at
Yes.
not even halfway through the season, that's a reasonable difference.
Absolutely. The third place team we have this season's, well, not a surprise for me, but surprise for some other people, contender Newcastle United. But though they have played an extra game compared to Arsenal and Manchester City, they're on 30 points, winning their last 5 games in incredible form.
Yeah.
Very a lot of their players didn't get a ton of minutes in the World Cup either, so they'll be well rested and motivated, I feel.
Yeah.
So
I guess
watch
the
out
only
for
problem
them.
there be whether they're too rusty. But, plenty of
I
games coming.
feel like we're gonna see now whether the winter break is a good or bad thing for the team.
Exactly.
Like getting a break in the middle, is that gonna lead to less injuries for these players who didn't play a big role in the World Cup?
Yeah. Definitely going to be good data points for that.
Yeah. I mean, very small sample size, all that stuff, of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
Still,
we can at least do some pseudo stats.
Yeah, very pseudo.
And 4th place we have Tottenham Hotspur on 29 points, also 15 games. Not in the best of form in the last few. They've been sweltering, but they've had a rest. There'll be a few players in that Spurs lineup who will be raring to go. England and South Korea were both knocked out reasonably early on in the tournament.
Well, South Korea at the round of 16 and England in the quarterfinals. So.
Yeah, so they've had another couple of weeks to rest up a lot of their Spurs players. So we will definitely get some. It'll be interesting to see what they're like. Manchester United have been playing a ton of friendlies, and I just mentioned to the Fool before we started recording, they just won their Carabao Cup fixture against Burnley.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be a lot of confidence. Not in the best of form leading up to the mid-season break, where they've won their last 3 of their last 5 games, but they have a draw and a loss in there, so in different form, I would say.
Better than Tottenham, who was only the 2 wins out of the last 5.
I agree. Better than Tottenham, and with the game in hand, they're exactly 3 points behind. So if they do win that game in hand, their goal difference is their goal difference is 0, so Spurs will still be ahead of them, but they'll be on equal points with them if
You
that
don't
were
think
to.
United's game in hand will provide a 10-goal thriller?
A 10-goal thriller? I don't
Well,
think
a plus 10 goals anyway.
I don't think this United team is capable of scoring 10 goals in a game. I'm very happy to be proven wrong, but they have just let go of the greatest goal scorer in the history of the world.
They have, yes.
A lot of stuff going on at Manchester United. So they're up for sale. There's going to be issues at the club. Yeah, I think they'll be happy if we finish. As a Manchester United fan, I'll be happy if we finish fifth. I will take that. Ten Hag will have done a really good job if he manages to secure European football, maybe even win the Europa League. Who knows? I mean, we're playing Barcelona, so tough game for both of us.
Yeah.
Liverpool, just to close out the top six, are on 14 games as well, 22 points, 4 points behind Manchester United. Once again, in different form, 2 losses in their last 5 games.
Yeah.
But you do always expect Liverpool to do better as the season progresses. We might see them swap places with Spurs at the end of the season. Like that seems like the logical outcome to me.
Liverpool
seems.
I'd say Liverpool may be, at least attacking wise, maybe a bit of a benchmark for the break. Because obviously Salah wasn't at the World Cup, and he had been looking tired and indifferent before the break, before the World Cup started. So we'll see what a few weeks off has done for him, whether that's refreshed and back to last year's best.
Yeah. The other thing is, quite obviously, everything we think about this season will change if Jude Bellingham happens to go to any of these top 6 clubs.
Yes.
Any of these top 6 clubs get Jude Bellingham, changes everything. But let's be honest, it'll probably be Manchester City that gets Jude Bellingham.
Yeah,
right? Like, it just feels like it's gonna happen.
That's pretty much how that works, right? We said it in the podcast for the end of the World Cup with Mbappe. 25, he gets things.
We did say to whisper it quietly, but
whisper it quietly.
Yeah,
Bellingam's going to City, and they'll be unstoppable.
Let's just very quickly go over the relegation teams.
I see we're not going down to 8th.
To give Chelsea a mention.
I don't know. Actually,
that's not even a European spot, is it?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, no. Let's go relegation. I mean, they're 8th.
Do you want to talk about Chelsea? Are you such a masochist? I'm happy to let you talk about Chelsea.
As I say, given their last 5 results, let's just go to relegation. That's probably more interesting.
I will say that I do think Chelsea will turn it around. Graham Potter's had a month to drill players with his system.
Yeah.
He will take time, and I think we'll see an improvement from Chelsea. Just my 2 cents. That being said, into the relegation side. Whoa, Wolves and Southampton. Oof. And Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Now, I have a sneaking suspicion Nottingham Forest are gonna do a great escape. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I feel like they will. Like, before the season started, I feel like we all thought Bournemouth were relegation contenders.
Yeah.
We all kind of liked Nottingham Forest, and to be fair, even as much as criticism as Nottingham Forest has been getting for buying so many players, it might have been a very well calculated risk, because they knew that this is the time they can buy these players. Even if they get relegated, they'll obviously have structured the contracts in a way that they can afford to keep paying these players in the Championship, and then do another run in the Championship next season and come back with this core of players who also have Premiership experience now.
Yeah, that's pretty smart dealings, really.
Also, I think they took into account that yes, it might take some time to gel, but they would get some time to gel in this break during the World Cup. Like
Yeah, yeah.
maybe I'm giving people a lot of credit, but yeah. And I like Steve Cooper. I do have faith in him. I think he's a very good manager. That being said, Forest have been in decent form despite being in the bottom three.
Yeah.
13 points, but they've won two games in their last five.
And two
Vital
draws in
points
that
there.
too.
Two draws as well, only lost one. So of the bottom three, they're in the best form leading into the coming back into the season. Southampton, terrible form, but they did win their last game, so we'll see if they can turn their season around. And Wolves, look, I know Wolves are in terrible form. They've got a new manager, but I always feel like Wolves are never a threat to be relegated. Like is just gonna get players into this club
Yeah.
that they need. Don't you think? Like it's just gonna happen. I don't. It's it may seem mathematically difficult, I know, but I just can't see Wolves get relegated. Like I just do. I think they have access to resources that the other clubs don't have, even if it's not money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's possible for it to happen, but I think you're right that they should manufacture their way out somehow. If there's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
transfer window coming up, they can start bringing new personnel as well. They've got
yeah.
a bit more resources. They are a known Premier League club, so they can attract slightly
Both
higher.
them and Southampton are yes.
Yeah, I mean, people, yeah, there'd be clubs that be players that'd be more willing to go there. You go, even though you're in the relegation zone now, we can help you get out, and we're likely still playing Premier.
Yeah. Speaking of clubs in the relegation battle, on 17th place, Everton. Super Frank is in trouble.
Yeah,
Everton are in trouble. Not in the best of form leading up to the break, though did manage to get a single win and a draw. 14 points. Same with David Moyes' West Ham. A single goal of goal difference separating the two clubs. I would not be surprised if either of these two teams get relegated at the end of the season. They're in terrible form, but I
so
think David Moyes.
West Ham's fought
Sorry.
their way out of the relegation, the bottom
Yeah,
three.
they
So
have, and David Moyes knows his way around this side of the table. He'll know
yeah,
how to motivate his players to survive. They don't have they don't have Europa League to distract them this season, so hopefully they'll be able to bail themselves out. Leeds, once again, they're another club where if I were a Leeds fan, I'd be worried. I
yeah,
think Leeds and Bournemouth, up to those two clubs, there's potential still to be relegated. Like Bournemouth had managed to run a bit of form like a few weeks before because they managed to
yeah,
get 4 wins out of 5 games, and then like their last few games they've been terrible. They've lost their
yeah.
last four. I mean, I hate to say it because they look like they could come back, but they're not gonna come back, are they? Like I feel like relegation is inevitable for this team,
Yeah.
despite the fact that they have a 3 point buffer over Nottingham Forest at the moment.
Moment, yeah, I think you're right. Like they were
Um,
one we're picking. They haven't. They just feel like they haven't. They are expecting to get relegated, up, and the real interest for them is next year back down in the championship. Just
yeah, and
spending
they
their
didn't
money.
buy any players as well. Like,
Yeah,
to be fair, things can change in the transfer window, and they have a new owner.
yeah,
He did say he thought Bournemouth were a bargain for 126 million, and I can't help but agree.
yeah,
He says it's an English club, it's in the Premier League. Sure, they're trouble for it. So I think if he got a bargain, if he's willing to spend money on players to keep them from getting relegated, he can figure out FFP in a couple of seasons if they stay in the Premiership, right?
yeah, yeah.
There,
Exactly,
there's ways around these things.
exactly.
Worst case scenario, he'll pay a fine in the
Yeah,
Championship in 3 seasons' time. Like that's future Bournemouth's problem.
exactly.
They spend, like if it's an FFP issue, because even however much you fine them, they're not necessarily going to be relegated all the way through. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can pick up, they can be frugal until they make it back up to make
exactly.
sure and gamble now. Um, Leicester, I think Brendan Rodgers has got this team humming again. Like I've
Yeah,
always rated him. There's been problems in the club last season and a bit of the beginning of this season because of injuries, but I feel like a lot of players are coming back.
Yeah.
I will be very, very surprised if Leicester don't get new players.
Yeah,
This is a
exactly.
club primed for somebody to buy. Like, they've won a premiership in the last decade. They've got a good manager. They've got a
Yeah.
good structure and system in place. So Leicester, I feel like they're going to be okay. Their form going into it has improved. Same with Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa,
Yeah.
they were in a lot of trouble at one point, but
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard has managed to turn things around, and I guess we'll see how things progress for them for the rest of the season, and because they do have a tough start into the upcoming games. So now what we'll do is we'll go through all of the games and we'll make our predictions. Does that sound good?
It sounds perfect.
All right, Tuesday, 27th December, 1:30 a.m., the day after Boxing Day, Brentford versus Spurs.
Oof.
Bees versus Spurs at the Brentford Community Stadium.
Yeah. I think the big thing for me is that being at Brentford, that's always a tough place to go. They do, their fans really do bring the atmosphere there. They are the 12th man for Brentford. Always a bit of a
Yep.
difficult fixture for anyone.
Mm.
So yeah, and this may be a test for Tottenham stars to say coming out of the World Cup, add reasonable amount of
I
time.
feel like there's a bit of rust. I think Ivan Toney has a point to prove.
Yeah.
At this tournament, at the moment, he was in incredible form before we went on break.
Mm.
My prediction is 1-1.
1-1.
This
I want to give it to Brentford actually. I feel there's going to be a few goals in
no?
it.
Or 2
No,
goals?
it'll be a few goals. So I was possibly even thinking 3-2. Like it
3-2?
may just be one of those ones where there's just first up, there's a bit of goals. Both sides sort of got
I like it.
attacking RS to prove. So yeah, 3-2 Brentford.
3-2 Brentford. Alright, next up, 4 a.m. New Zealand time, 27th, Southampton versus Brighton, South Coast Derby. Who do we like here, Saints or Seagulls?
Brighton's playing so well at the moment.
I agree. I think Brighton are just better than Southampton at the moment,
Yeah.
and I think Brighton are gonna steal their lunch money and kick them to the curb, maybe put their head in the toilet bowl,
Yeah,
all these things.
exactly.
2-0 Brighton.
2-0 Brighton sounds perfectly fine. The only thing I was giving Southampton was it was at home, and this if they're going to survive, this is sort of the start of that time.
Yeah.
But I still think Brighton's too good. But I might go 2-1.
I agree.
Give Southampton a goal.
Next up, we have Leicester Foxes versus Magpies. Leicester versus Newcastle at home in the King Power Stadium. Who do we like here?
Once again, this is a tough one. Newcastle playing so well, but
I think so too.
But
I think Newcastle have enough players that didn't go to the World. Same with Leicester. Like, I think Jimmy Vardy will be rearing to go, but so will players like Charlison, Joelinton, and the likes. I think Maximin. I think this game is going to be very, very close. I predict a 2-1 to Newcastle. I just think they're playing too well at the moment. I think Eddie Howe's got his team sorted.
I may go with the same same scoreline. I'm a bit torn. Leicester have had good form. Once again, it's another one of these ones where they don't need it as much. They're getting out of the relegation zone, but it's the one to start back into things. But it's a tough one, and Newcastle's just looking. I'm thinking I'm going to stick 2-1 for Newcastle as well.
Yeah, next up we have Crystal Palace versus Fulham. I think this is a London derby. Eagles versus Cottagers. Who do you like here?
Oof. Oh, this is going to be interesting. No, they're both pretty close on the table, on the same number of points. Hey, London derby. Palace is at home. It always, once again, Palace have good fans. Get
I think
a
at
lift.
Sellers Park it's too much for Fulham for me. I think
Yeah,
Crystal Palace take this.
I think so too.
I think they'll win it 1-0.
That's what I was going to say as well. 1-0 Crystal
Everton versus Wolves. Toffees versus Wolves.
Palace.
Like here.
Ooh.
We
No.
like any of them.
Wow. No, Wolves. I like Wolves. Okay, relegation battle as well. It's fun.
At
It,
at Goodison Park.
it is, as I say, it is at Goodison Park. So, once again, home fans, once again, Everton fans are Everton fans. Not a lot like that. But, oh, it's so much almost a must win for Wolves. Like, once again,
Must win for both games, for both
both
teams, because
yeah. Everton
both teams
does,
are in terrible form leading up.
yeah.
I can't see this be anything other than a 0-0 draw. Like both teams are going to try to lose this game. I think. I do think Wolves will improve after January with reinforcements, but yeah, Everton.
I was actually going with at least one goal each, maybe 1-1. Go with the draw as well, but there'll be a goal each in it because, as you say, they'll both try to lose it somehow.
Yeah. Next up at Villa Park, we have the Villains playing Liverpool, the Reds. Who do you like here?
Liverpool. I don't like Aston Villa. So.
I don't think Aston Villa either. Yeah.
It'd be Liverpool.
Fortunately, I feel like Mohamed Salah is going to put on a show. I see 3-0 here.
That was pretty much what I was going to say as well. Like, yeah, this is just... Sorry, yeah, it's just a place where Liverpool... Mo Salah gets back into it, Liverpool gets back.
I agree. Next up, we have Arsenal versus West Ham, London derby, Gunners versus Irons. Oof,
poor West Ham.
Emirates.
Poor West Ham. Yeah, I don't see how West Ham wins this one. Like,
you don't believe in David Moyes?
Not this fixture. This is the throwaway fixture, and let's move on to the next one and hope that's better.
All right.
Yeah, Arsenal this season are just so good. At least because this breaks them, for lack of a better terminology. I don't see.
They don't have Gabriel Jesus. He's injured, and they can't reinforce that forward line until January.
You do make a good point on that. But yeah, I don't feel.
And David Moyes has had a month to prep for this game.
He has had a month to prep for this game. I still see Arsenal, and it's like 2-0.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think Arteta has his boys playing for him, and they believe in the pride in the jersey and everything. Yeah, I think 2-0 Arsenal.
They've got something to believe in, right? They have a dream right now, and
it's
been a long time coming. This dream. Last time they were the top of the summit. If this
was Spurs, top of the table, going into West Ham coming back, I'd be like, no, Spurs are going to Spurs it. This is exactly. Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal are going to Spurs it. Next up, we have the Chelsea versus Bournemouth, Lions versus Cherries. Who do you like here?
Chelsea. We're gonna turn things around, and it's a good match for us to turn things around on.
I agree.
This is the best match to start this back up with.
I think this is going to be a Graham Potter masterclass. I see 2-0 for Chelsea here.
Yeah, that's where I was going, just because that would more show I think Chelsea will look a lot better than 2 goals, but they'll only manage 2 goals. So,
I think also Chelsea are gonna get reinforcements in January. I can
oh,
almost smell it.
yeah, almost guaranteed.
Next up, we have Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. It's the 9 a.m. game on Wednesday. Um, yeah, might be the game that I watch before I start work. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Red Devils versus Forest. I think United are going to win. I know I've been talking up Nottingham Forest, but I think it's a bit too hard for them to go to Old Trafford, especially a confident United team now.
Yeah,
They've been
exactly.
winning. So I think United win this one. I think maybe even they might even slip up and let Forest score a goal. 2-1.
I think United wins, and I think they win it easily. I was going 3-0.
Oh, all right. Last game of matchday 17. Thursday, 9 a.m. December 29th. We have Leeds United versus Manchester City. The the Whites versus the Citizens. Who do you like here?
Once again, I don't see how Leeds have a chance.
Yep.
City all the way.
Oh, we just say City 5-0.
Why not?
There we go. Match day 18, we start off with another London derby featuring Brentford. We have Irons versus Bees, West Ham hosting Brentford at London Stadium. Who do you like here?
ooh,
I
that's another one.
hate counter. Once again I'm picking a draw here. I think 1-1.
I think this one is away from home for Brentford. I may actually give it to West Ham. They're starting their revival. While they've more crashed and burned leading up to the break. This may be the start of their um,
Take off.
takeoff here. So yeah, this is the one that they need to target really. I'm going to give it West Ham 1-0.
Next up, the two L's, Liverpool versus Leicester City, 9 a.m. Saturday on New Year's Eve. Um, who do we like here? I mean, obviously Liverpool's winning, right? Like, surely the Klopp train is gonna start from the previous round and continue.
Yeah, I mean yeah, given predicting Liverpool winning that first game, I think they continue on here.
Yeah, if Liverpool can't take 3 points at home against Leicester, they're not finishing top four. Like, let's just put it out there.
I think Leicester
Oh,
will look good, so
yeah,
I'm going to give it 1-0.
1-0 Liverpool. Wolves versus Man United.
Were you
Uh,
1-0 Liverpool as well? Sorry.
yeah, I think 2-0 Liverpool. Wolves versus Manchester United on New Year's Day, 1:30 a.m. I mean, this is the sort of game Manchester United banana peels. I think Eric Ten Hag has to show that he's got the boys playing. He's had a month to drill his system, get them playing the way he wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think given Wolves' form, United have to win. So nil United.
Yeah, I think United win this one too. It's a bit of a pity because this is hard for Wolves.
Yep.
They do get Everton first, which is going to be a bit of a thing, and then they get United come visit. But yeah, I think United. I'd give them 1-0.
Yeah. City versus Everton. Sunday on New Year's Day, 4 a.m. Um, so what, 7-0?
Yeah, pick a nice high number. Yeah,
Leeds are better than Everton. Like, let's just put it out there.
yes, you make good points. So yeah, this is how many goals does Haaland score?
Yep. Yep. Next up, Fulham versus Southampton. If Southampton are gonna make a comeback, they have to do it now. But I think Fulham are just playing too well.
Yeah,
Mitra's in form. I think I I see 2-0 Fulham Cottagers.
yeah. No, I I think I agree. Well, at least in that Fulham are playing very well. I don't see Southampton doing it.
Like, I expect Fulham to stay up. I'm just
Yeah.
up there.
No,
They're not getting relegated.
I've accepted that now as well. Yeah, 2-0 is fine by me.
Then we have Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. I feel bad for Bournemouth. There was a point in the season where I think Bournemouth would have won this game, but I think, yeah, they're getting relegated. Crystal Palace will win the game. You know?
Yeah.
The Eagles.
I mean, yeah, this is one of those ones where Bournemouth need to show that they can actually, that their current position is justified. But I'm not sure I see it happening.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd go 1-0.
Well, alright. Next we have Newcastle versus Leeds. I mean, we think Leeds are good. Right, we agree Leeds are good. Sorry, Newcastle are good. We think Newcastle are good. We agree. Yeah. We agree that they're good, right?
Yes. Newcastle are good.
Home, at James Park. I mean, no, easily, maybe 3-0.
3, maybe 4. I mean, Leeds United are going to be demoralised by being smashed by City the week before.
I agree. Next, we have Brighton versus Arsenal. I think this is a tough game for Arsenal. Away, they're going to be at the Amex. And I think there's a lot of players playing for Brighton who are at the World Cup who are in decent form. They're in decent form. I think I could see this be a draw. This is potentially where Manchester City start climbing back up the points table.
Yeah,
I see. I wouldn't be surprised if Brighton won this game. But I think a draw. I think 2-2.
I actually might go with you on it being a draw. But yeah, it's the sort of game where this needs to be where Arsenal. This will be a game where Arsenal either proves their championship or their premiership credentials, and you know, if they take a win from this game, I think that's big steps in the right way. A loss, it's a massive dent. But I'm still with you. I think it's going to be the draw, but I think it's going to be 1-1.
All right. Spurs versus Villa. Spurs. I think if they drew their game against Brentford, like I think, and you think they're going to win against Brentford, or Brentford's going to win, I think they're going to be rearing to come out and show what they do. They're going to absolutely want to take it to Villa. I see at least 2-0.
Yeah, no, at least 2-0, maybe 3. I might go 3-0.
Forest at home to Chelsea. Look, Chelsea have to start playing at some point, right? And Forest, this is a tough game. I think Forest can sneak in a draw at home to Chelsea, because they are in some sort of form coming in. Their players, not many players at the World Cup, so they've had a chance to rethink their things.
There is that.
I mean, and I am projecting Forest to stay up, so I kind of have to predict we get some points here. To stay consistent, I'm gonna predict 1-0.
No, I think it's the other way. I think Chelsea's gonna. They've had good time, say the ones that was stay behind, and have come back to get back into it. They've got to prove. I know normally Chelsea come into the Christmas period, and we traditionally choke it through that. But we're normally flying high before that, and I think it's reverse card. Reverse, yeah, it's opposite season. That means we're going to have a really good Christmas period. So I'm going to go with 2-0 win here.
Now, match day 19, we have Brentford versus Liverpool. Once again, Brentford opening up the match day. 6 a.m., 3rd of Jan on Tuesday. What do we like here at the Brentford Community Stadium? I still think Brentford's pretty good. I think if they can draw Spurs, they can definitely draw Liverpool. I think they can come away with a win. Like, this is the sort of team that can beat Liverpool. 1-0 Brentford.
Yeah. This one to me is a bit on how Liverpool played through the other two games. So it's there's going to be some tight legs as well, and Liverpool don't have the defense. So I think it might be a bit of a topsy-turvy game. But
Mind
I
you,
might.
Salah and Firmino did not go to the World Cup.
Yes, they didn't go to the World Cup, but they're still playing 3 games in a reasonably short period of time.
True.
I mean, it's just, no matter how little football you've been having, it's still a lot in a very short.
Absolutely.
But so I might go a 1-1 draw.
Alright, Leicester versus Fulham at home. I think at home, Leicester pretty strong. I think Brendan Rodgers. I know Fulham are playing well, but I think Brendan Rodgers is enough to know how to deal with the team like Fulham. I think they'll hold the win here.
Yeah, no, I agree that I think Leicester wins this one. Fulham's season so far is going well, but I think I think they'll do well enough to stay up, but I don't know if they'll stay top. On the ones where Leicester wins and leapfrogs them.
Yeah, I do think Leicester are going to move into the top half as the season progresses. I agree with that.
I'd go maybe.
Who knows who they will get into squads at this point? Like this is very speculative.
I'd go 2-1 Leicester.
2-1 Leicester. Next up, Arsenal versus Newcastle. Now, if Arsenal have slipped on a banana peel in the next game, this is a huge banana peel game. Now, do we think Arsenal are going to win? This is a statement game, right?
Yeah.
First place versus third place. This is a game.
This is at the Emirates, so this is the one they need to win. Right. If Newcastle
are going to be up for it, they are definitely been looking at Arsenal. Like the teams have had a chance to review footage and see what Arsenal do that break, right?
Exactly.
Figure out how they play. But ditto Newcastle. So Arteta's had the same thing. It's two very good managers who I rate, but I think Eddie Howe is just too experienced in these sort of situations. He knows how to win against Arsenal. He just seems to do it all the time. So I think Newcastle 2-1. Like Arsenal will play really well, have a bulk of the possession, attack all the time, but somehow Newcastle are going to win.
I'm actually going the other way around, 2-1 Arsenal. I think Arsenal this season are just looking so good. For the breaks, giving everybody a chance for that video footage to analyse it all. Like you say, Arteta and team have got the same chance to do the same, review what they're doing, see what tweaks they want. I don't want to say it, but I actually secretly think that Arsenal's going to go all the way this season. Just looking.
We've heard it here first. Bonafide, true blue Chelsea fan.
I know.
The Fool feels Arsenal are gonna win the league.
Yeah, Chelsea's too far out. I can't see us.
I never bet against City. I'm sorry. I can.
It is City chasing them, and Newcastle giving them a good run as well. But
yeah,
I think Arsenal just so many years of being shit, basically, that their good year, I don't think they're going to let slip.
Yeah. Next up, we have Everton versus Brighton. I think Everton are bad. I think Brighton are good. I think Brighton win 1-0.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with your analysis. It's the best analysis. Yeah, Everton are bad. Brighton are good. Brighton wins.
Manchester United versus Bournemouth. I mean, if United cannot beat Bournemouth at home, they should just resign from the Premier League and, go down to the amateurs. Yeah.
Just hand in the license. We're done.
2-0 versus Bournemouth.
Yeah. I think that's an indication of Bournemouth. Like, I don't see them offering anything. I don't see this going. I'm happy with 2-0 for United as well.
Next up, we have Southampton versus Nottingham Forest. Like I said, I believe in Forest. I believe in Steve Cooper. 0-1 to Forest. Even though it's at the new Dell. St. Mary's.
Yeah, St. Mary's, yeah. I mean, this is the relegation battle, really.
Yeah.
Like, if either one of them is going to have a great escape, this has to be one. I think you're right. Forest. I'd pick Forest over Southampton to make the escape. So, hey, little one, Forest.
Then we have Leeds United versus West Ham at Ellen Road. Another up game for both sides. Vital if they want to not get relegated. I think it's going to be a cagey affair. Going to be flying tackles everywhere. This game has draw all over it. 0-0.
Your analysis is right. This is going to be a tough game. It's going to be physical. It does have draw written over it, but I feel like a similar analysis that West Ham is still a good team. Leeds have been very shaky last season, and so far this season, I think that gives it to West Ham. West Ham 1-0.
Ham 1-0. Next up, we have the Midlands Derby, Aston Villa versus Wolves. I mean, the Wolves' comeback has to start somewhere, right? I think.
Yeah.
Going to Villa Park and showing what they're made of is one way to do it. Oh. But I think Villa are in reasonable form. I don't know. I think both teams are going to try to lose. Once again, I feel like this is a game where both teams are going to try to lose. I'll go Wolves 1-0.
I was going to go Wolves 1-0 as well. As you said, the comeback's got to start somewhere. I think they've got too good a team, too good a squad. They're just too good a club to be relegated now.
Yeah.
After so many years of staying up and looking decent. Like, this season is definitely an anomaly. Has to turn around somewhere. Why not at Villa? Okay, so I give it Wolves 1-0 as well.
Next up, we have Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur on Thursday, the 5th of Jan at 9 a.m. That Villa game was also on the 5th of Jan. Now, I think Patrick Vieira loves beating Spurs up and taking their lunch money. I feel like Spurs going into Sellers Park are on a hiding to nothing. I think Crystal Palace wins 2-1.
Well, I was thinking this very similar things, but just giving Tottenham a tad more credit and thinking this will end in a 1-1 draw.
An all draw. And finally, the game of the round. Chelsea versus Manchester City at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
I think you and I are going to disagree on what we think is going to happen in this game.
I think we are. Mostly because I'm going to go with my heart and not my head on this result.
I think Chelsea will show they've got what Graham Potter's about, and get 2 or 3 wins in this Christmas period. But this is not a game they're going to win. I think City are going to be on fire. They're going to, they have a point to prove. They want to catch Arsenal. They want to put the pressure on Arsenal to drop points. I think Haaland is going to be on 20 goals for the season, 25 goals for the season by the end of this game. He's City 3-0 for me.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, we disagree. I think I'm going to back Chelsea. Not surprising. I'm going to back Chelsea, obviously. I think this is one where we just need to make a statement, and we've done it before against City. I'm going to go for another 2-0 victory.
Nice. I'm not done enough math to figure out how the table will fall out if we...
No. I may be able to do... I did write most of them down. I may be able to do like a spreadsheet, a graphic to put up. But
yeah, I expect the top 4 to be largely unchanged. Manchester United might move into 4th if Spurs drop points. And in the relegation thing, I do think Forest are going to move out of relegation. I think Southampton are going to stay in. I don't think Wolves are going to move out of relegation, but they'll move up in position. I think either Everton, or Leeds are going to be in the relegation zone. Or Bournemouth, one of those 3.
I mean, the way we've sort of predicted, I think, yeah, we've sort of predicted Spurs to be dropping points more than others around them. I think they're dropping down. Which would mean, yeah, United, maybe Liverpool. No, probably just United overthrow them or leapfrog them. I don't think we've predicted enough for Liverpool to catch them. Yeah, and
They're a bit behind the point. Like, I'm not predicting a single United loss here, so I don't think Liverpool can catch them. Like, I think all these games are winnable for United.
Yeah, well, it's more
and,
if
like,
Liverpool can catch.
Should be won by United as well.
Yeah, they should be. They really should. The question really is whether Liverpool catches Tottenham.
Yeah, like United are facing 3 clubs that I think are gonna be in the relegation struggle. So if United can't beat them, what are we doing here?
What are you doing?
And 2 of the games are at home.
I think you're right. I think Nottingham Forest over this period possibly get themselves out of relegation, with Wolves making a move.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a bit of movement, but it's probably not anything too drastic.
Yeah, I concur. Now, so I think that's all we have time for today. We'll see how right we were and how wrong we were, and how things all play out. I had a good time. Thanks very much for listening.
I'll catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, for even more, find Fix42 Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.